Just think about it.
Welcome back to episode 4 of Just Think About It. Mikkel, it's been a while since we've got on this. I think a bit has changed, especially in your life. So you've moved.
Yeah. I cut my toenails.
Okay, yeah.
Massive change.
Massive change. That's why it took so long to
Yeah.
record this episode.
Exactly. No, I moved to Europe, so
Yeah.
so busy time. Not a high frequency on our podcast, but we're definitely looking to change that.
Yep. Yeah, I think we need to make this a weekly thing to keep the audience entertained.
Exactly, to keep everyone involved. Now that we have such a large fan base.
Exactly. The fans want more Mikkel.
Yep. Give the people what they want.
Yeah, but just before we start, how's living in your IKEA showroom? And I say IKEA showroom, I mean IKEA showroom. So Mikkel sent some pictures just as he got to Sweden, and it looks like, a photo from IKEA was taken, not from his actual house.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, I am living in Sweden at the moment in a little studio apartment with my girlfriend, and it's very nice. But it's also sponsored by IKEA themselves, I think, more or less.
Yeah.
Or at least all interior things are IKEA, which makes sense, right? Since that is the stereotype. If anything, some stereotypes are very true.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the way to integrate Mikkel is by bonding over IKEA furniture.
When you're assembling, you all get together and just assemble together.
Yeah, well, that's the Sweden breaking the ice, right?
Yeah,
that's the team building in Sweden, breaking the ice.
It's instead of bars, actually, they just have rooms where you can bring your furniture and assemble it together.
Yeah, I feel like that would break up more friendship than build it, to be fair.
Oh, 100%. There's no way anyone can build IKEA furniture together without getting somewhat in a kerfuffle.
Yeah, for sure. And I have the saying, too many chefs, often. I think any more than 2 people and it just becomes unhelpful.
Any more than 1.
Yeah.
Because I don't think when it comes to building furniture, I'm a great team player. So for me, it just needs to be me, and then it may take me a day, it may take me a week to assemble a chair, but it'll get done.
Yeah.
And I'll only get into fights with myself, which is very healthy. And also the reason that I started playing badminton when I was a kid. Only one person to get in arguments with, and it was myself.
Yeah. Perfect. That's the best. No team bonding, no team activities, just yourself, so you're not brought down by your lesser teammates.
Yeah, or at least I don't have that frame of mind, so I can be a more appropriate human being when I am socializing, doing other things.
Yeah, more humble.
Yeah, exactly. If there's anything I am, it's humble.
Yeah, exactly. No, so I think we said we'd start and give the solution to the riddle that we posed to everyone last episode.
Yeah, a little follow-up.
Yeah, and so the riddle, Mikkel, do you want to talk quickly about it to level set anyone in case anyone missed the last episode?
Yeah, so the premise for the riddle is that you had 1,000 bottles of wine, and you had one of which was poisoned, and then the poison would take effect within an hour or after an hour, and you have a number of rats to figure out which bottle of wine is poisoned, and the aim was to find out what's the minimum number of rats you needed to figure out which bottle of wine was poisoned within that hour time.
Yeah, and good job to anyone who actually got it right. I must admit, I wasn't even close, and a few of the people I spoke to weren't close. So
yeah, I mean, William, shout out, got it right after I gave him a hint.
Yeah,
so that was good of him. My stepdad Frank got it right with no hints whatsoever.
Yeah.
So very well done on him.
But other than that, very impressive.
Yeah. Other than that, I didn't hear of anyone.
Yeah. So skip forward by about 2 minutes if you don't want to hear the solution. But the solution is, so you need 10 rats. And if you're a computer science major or understand binary, it's a lot easier to explain. But the gist of it really is you feed each rat either a certain combination of wine from the 1,000. And let's say, based on the ones that die or live, you then can pinpoint exactly which bottle. So if 1, 4, and 5 rat, if you order them in 1 to 10 die, you know which one they shared in common, which one they didn't share in common, and then from there you can figure it out.
Right, based on a binary code system, which is where the computer science comes in.
Yeah. We'll link the full solution down for anyone who wants it in our YouTube description. So have
Right.
a look there.
So I guess for a slightly more specific solution, the answer is 2 to the power of n has to be greater than the number of bottles, and then n is the number of rats, the minimum number of rats you'll need for the mathematically inclined.
Yeah, thanks, Mikkel.
Yeah.
So our next topic about third year, the year that we spent away together, or spent away from each other.
Spent away together. We were away from each other together. Yeah. I mean, I guess we ended last podcast with the end of second year, or at least talking about our second year of university in London. And I guess we'll start this one by talking about a little bit about our third year.
Yeah. Just a snippet.
Exactly. I mean, as we weren't together, we'll just touch on it because the fun parts were, in all fairness, when we were in the same area.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I'll start with my trips when I was in Singapore. So I moved to Singapore for a year to go to university there and kind of learn at a different university. So that was really fun. But we went on a lot of trips with a lot of exchange students, and so there's quite a few stories from there. But I think one of them that you'll appreciate, Mikkel, is my trip to the Philippines.
Right. I think I will appreciate it because I don't think I've heard this one, honestly.
So it was during a project, and I wasn't pass-fail like a lot of the other exchange students. My grades were transcribed across from what I got at the University of Singapore to Imperial College. And
right, so it affected your degree quite in a major way, right?
Yeah. So I couldn't, let's say, be as liberal as some of the exchanges with how I studied and how I kind of did my coursework or anything like that. So a bunch of exchange students were going to go to the Philippines. They had planned out the trip and everything. I just remember them talking about the beach, and I was like, yeah, that sounds great. Sign me up. But during that week, when they were planning out everything and sending loads of Facebook messages and emails, I was working on a project, a lot of all-nighters per se.
Yeah.
And so I didn't listen at all. I thought we were just going to the beach for 2 weeks, and I packed accordingly, Mikkel.
Of course. What did you pack?
Yeah.
Did you pack a lot? I feel like you're not a big packer.
No, I'm definitely not a big packer. So I packed 3 pairs of shorts.
Yeah.
Some flip-flops, some shoes, like trainers, and then about 4 t-shirts.
You wouldn't need more for 2 weeks on the beach, honestly. Like anything more that you pack is like a waste of space and a waste of weight.
Yeah. Well, it turns out we didn't go just to the beach. We went up to the mountains, and it was incredibly cold. Let's say I remember being on this bus ride up to the mountains after we arrived, and I had all my t-shirts on because I was that cold, because it must have been about 5 degrees in the bus.
All 4 of them. Nice. Well, the thing is with mountains, right? Like they're high up.
Yeah, great. The thing is with sea level, right, Mikkel? When you're there, it's at sea level, so it's not high up.
Yeah.
And so when we first got on this bus, and I was like, oh, where are we going? And yeah, even before I kind of just went along with the flow and just went along with it. And then they're like, oh, we're going up to the mountains to go see the rice fields. I was like, oh, that sounds really nice. Didn't realize it was about a 5-hour bus ride, up.
In a bus without heating?
Yep.
Nice.
I mean, I think they turned on the air conditioning. And because the bus driver didn't speak English, I couldn't ask to turn it off. Also, I was a little bit shy to ask the guy to turn off the air conditioning when everyone else was there in jackets.
Yeah. I mean, in your defense, it kind of makes sense to turn off the air conditioning and then take jackets off inside a vehicle.
Yeah.
Or is that just me?
I think that makes sense. I would have been a lot happier, but that was not the case, and I just kind of froze there for a while. And then when we went hiking and stayed up in the mountains, I was just so cold, Mikkel.
No one had spare clothes for you? No. What are friends for? Just watch you be cold.
Just watch me freeze and my stupidity, because they discussed it all. They had discussed where they're going and everything.
But this was a day trip, right?
No, this was like to get up to the mountain is a far ride on the bus. So this was a 3-day kind of thing.
Oh, okay. So you had to go up. Like there's no way you could just wait behind at sea level and say, look, guys, I didn't pack appropriately. Maybe I'll sit this one out.
Yeah, no.
That was not. No. So you guys stayed on the mountain for 3 days, like in a hostel or something? Or?
Yeah, we stayed in a village. That was another experience. Sang karaoke with with the locals, or
Of course.
attempted to. The only bar in that village, and they had these duck eggs as well. So they had duck eggs. They're supposed to be good for your sexual health.
Of course.
And basically what it is not, so the duck starts to grow before they boil the duck eggs.
Yeah.
And so it's the most revolting egg I've ever eaten in my life. And I only had like a tiny, I didn't eat all of it. I had like a tiny bite of it because I thought I'm not going to find this anywhere else.
Right. I mean, I've seen it on Fear Factor.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's a Fear Factor food.
Yeah, and that sounds vile, like a duck fetus.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what do you think about does that surprise you, Mikkel? My shenanigans and not listening and not coming prepared?
It doesn't surprise me, but as any engineering student will know, when it's crunch time, and everything else just kind of gets blocked. So I can see why you weren't listening to people planning a trip. It's like, all right, we'll outsource trip planning, and you're in Southeast Asia, so why would it not be?
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
Thank you, Mikkel.
But at least you paid the fair price of being cold for a week.
Yeah. I mean, I think fourth year helped. At least it helped for fourth year when we didn't have heating. But tell me about your third year, Mikkel. What were you doing when I wasn't there?
I feel like I was studying a lot. I don't recall many exciting things happen. I guess for the reason that you weren't there.
Yeah, obviously.
And then the relevance to this podcast kind of dies with that. I was a whole senior, as I was in my second year, but I was definitely a worse whole senior in my third year than I was. I had way more things on my plate, so there's less effort got put into the youngins.
Yeah. I feel like you have to have a lot of energy to be a whole senior.
Definitely, and I had that energy in second year, and I don't think I had that energy in third year. But
I feel like freshers become more annoying as you get through your university career.
As you get older
as well. Yeah. So first year, fine, you're a fresher. Second year, okay, it's new to university, that's fine. Third year, you're like, oh, these people are pretty annoying. And then fourth year, you're like, all right, they know nothing.
Yeah,
they're so immature.
It's a change in priorities. I think it's a solid change in what you find fun to do.
Yeah.
I feel like I did a lot of sport in third year as well. Like that was my two things: sport and studies. What a blast! What a crazy life.
Well, calm down, Mikkel.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I think we should definitely fast forward through the whole of third year.
Yep.
And
done.
to the summer of summer between third and fourth. Year, like fourth year, our final year of university. That was the summer of internships, I think. Like get some stuff on that CV so that you can get a job when you finish school was the aim of the game, I think.
Absolutely. Regardless of how value adding the internship. I think your internship was pretty good though.
My internship was absolutely amazing. And it was a great experience, and it'll probably still help me in the future. So I like that a lot.
My internship was a complete farce and absolutely hated it. I regret it completely.
Oh no.
Yeah.
How long did you do it? The whole summer?
3 months.
Okay. Yeah. Standard.
3 months too long, to be honest.
Yeah. You traveled all the way to South Africa, I believe.
Yeah. So I thought it would be a good idea to travel to South Africa, get another country on my CV as well. And I worked at a steel producing factory. So where they have large furnaces and they get the ore and they basically convert it into usable stainless steel.
Right. That sounds like appropriate experience for a chemical engineer, honestly.
Yeah, that does. And then basically I was there and no one knew what to do with me. So they assigned me a project, and that project was just kind of to entertain myself.
Oh, nice.
They asked me to do some temperature modeling of the furnace, and I completed it within the first week. Yeah. And then they kind of just were like, oh, well, we don't know what to do.
Nice. That sounds like a lot of internships, I feel. Like it's like management has told the company that they need to take an intern because that looks good on whatever outward marketing ploy the company has set in place. But then the actual departments that then get the interns I think it's very hit and miss. I think some departments, like it's like the greatest experience ever, and then others it's like, no, we were prepared. Could you please make a coffee and then read Wikipedia for 8 hours? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I read a lot of BBC during that time.
Yeah.
To be fair,
Yeah,
I
because
felt so useless though. I mean, I really wanted to contribute. I was like, just give me something useful. Even that project, right? I finished it, gave it to my boss, and then he was like, "Oh, great," and then didn't do anything with it.
oh yeah, put it in the drawer.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh well, okay,
Thanks.
yeah."
Yeah, that's
So
crazy. No, my internship was really productive. I worked in the Netherlands for NATO, and yeah, I had a whole summer of getting relevant experience for space related systems, and that's kind of what I wanted to do after university anyway. So yeah, for me it was the opposite. It was very good experience, and it felt like everything I contributed got put to some sort of use, or at least was helpful for the more senior staff there. Senior in terms of experience, obviously, not necessarily age.
no, I think life lessons though good from that front. One,
Yeah,
it taught me never want to work in the steel industry because of the just how unsafe and dirty it is, and not great for the environment. Two, always make sure that anyone that works for you or working with you is feeling like they're actually adding value and not just there to fulfill a random need, something like that.
right. It's not just there to spend
Yeah,
time, but also
yeah,
to actually do something that
yeah,
contributes to the general scope of what you're trying to do.
yeah, exactly. And three, never want to work in South Africa again. Like,
Oh
yeah,
man, I want to visit, but that's a story for another day. But I
yeah,
definitely want to visit, and I want you as my tour guide, 100%.
yeah. I'll be a terrible tour guide.
That's the point.
That's you'll realize how little I know about South Africa and how narrow my mindset is on
Yeah,
certain things.
yeah, that's okay. That's okay. We'll have a backup tour guide as well, but primary, you're
Yeah,
in it to win it. Um, During that time, I think during both our
yeah,
internships, I think that's around where I mean, we probably decided way earlier that we were gonna
yeah,
live together in third year. Sorry, in fourth year. And we plans changed a few times in terms of our living situation and how many people we're gonna live together and all of that. But at least the one constant was that you and I were gonna live together.
yeah,
And by towards the end of the summer, it was kind of crunch time to find a spot because we couldn't really move to London without having a
without.
place to live and then just be there with our suitcases. Like everyone we knew there was kind of students as well, so there's like people didn't have couch space. The rental situation in London is quite dire unless you're on a 6-figure salary. So there isn't a lot of places you can just kind of crash. So we decided, or had somewhat decided for us, but we decided, all right, it's crunch time. We need to find a spot to live. We guess it'll just be the two of us. It'll be easier.
Yep.
And that was a bit of a summer project. The only problem was neither of us were in the country. I was in the Netherlands, you were in South Africa, and we couldn't really leave our internships.
Yeah, yeah. I think it started off really well. You knew people in London, I did not.
Yeah.
And so you started to get people to go see the accommodation.
Yeah, I got lots of people, or not lots of people, a couple of people that I knew to go see. They mainly went to see places that then later turned out to be inappropriate because of
Yeah,
our changing circumstances. And then by the time we'd narrowed down to the fact that it would just be you and I, and we really needed a place, all the people that I knew that could go and look for us had kind of gone on holiday.
yep,
And when I say they've kind of gone, they went on holiday. So there was no one left for
yep,
me to for me to help to help us.
yep. And so we had our budget. We had a list of places that fulfilled that budget, and we kind of had an idea of the location. And then we're like, we just have to commit to one of these. We can't go see it. We can't go ask too many questions because they get snapped up pretty quickly in London.
Yeah, it's definitely a very fast-paced real estate market, and if you don't catch something within the day of it being posted, there's a very high chance it'll be gone.
Yeah. And so I think I can't remember which number this was. It must have been number 5 or
Yeah, something like that.
pretty high up on the list after people could no longer see it and give negative feedback.
Exactly.
And then this went against the rule that I created after year 2, by the way.
Yeah, completely and utterly.
Year 2, I said, okay, life lesson, always go look at the place yourself. Never just commit to somewhere without, you vetting it, then this thrown out the window.
Yeah, not our choice, but I think I made the call because it was much easier to make, I guess, the call from from the Netherlands and sort that out rather than you having to do it all the way from South Africa. I don't know what the logic was, but
Yeah.
But I called, I think, and the guy I talked to on the phone,
Yeah.
he said, "Okay, we can put your names down. You guys are ready to pay a deposit and lock in this place." And he was very surprised, honestly, on the phone. And he asked me 2 or 3 times, "Are you sure?" And that didn't make me feel overly confident in this place.
When the guy's job is literally to give people accommodation, that's how he gets paid.
Yeah,
If he's second questioning you, it doesn't fill you with confidence.
exactly. And retrospectively now, I know that it was just for the reason that we hadn't seen it. But at the time, it definitely made me second guess. But the pictures were very nice, and the place was located quite well, and it seemed like an appropriate price for the size.
Yeah.
So yeah, we took it off the bat, not having seen it, nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna. It was a pretty nice place in terms of location and size.
Size-wise, I thought it was amazing. I think we did much better than a lot of our classmates.
Yeah, that's very true.
And there was only 2 people, which means it's also going to be the prices for 2-people apartments are usually quite a lot higher than, say, if you're 3 or 4 or 5 people living together. Anyway, I think I arrived in London slightly before you, and I went to go get the keys. And it was the same person that I talked to on the phone who was there to give me the keys and show me the apartment for the first time.
Yep.
And he said it was unprecedented, his words, unprecedented that someone had straight away taken an apartment over the phone without any consideration or seeing the place.
I mean, this wasn't even like a, sign for a month or like a few weeks. This was a 9-month minimum contract in London. So in total, it's like tens of thousands of pounds.
Exactly. It wasn't a small deal at all.
Yeah. So I can understand how he was a bit flabbergasted by it.
Definitely. He was super confused.
Imagine you just went in there, you saw the apartment, you're like, actually, no, this is not for me. Hand back the keys. Just walk away.
I guess I'll just pay rent and not live here.
Yeah.
Great. No, I mean, I had all my suitcases and stuff with me, so there was no chance that I was going to do it. But I saw the place, and it was pretty much what was said on the tin.
Yeah.
2 rooms, quite big rooms, a big living room area, big kitchen. Like it had carpets on the floor all over, which is always like a bit of a letdown because they never really get clean.
Yeah, they're pretty disgusting.
Yeah, they weren't that clean, honestly, but that was like the worst of it. And they were clean enough. Like I wouldn't eat food off of it, but it wasn't like you got dirty socks from taking 2.
Yeah. I think that's if something fell on the floor, regardless of what it was, if it wasn't packaged, it would be thrown in the bin.
Yeah, food-wise for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's not like my laptop fell on the floor and that goes in the bin. It wasn't that. It wasn't that.
It wasn't that extreme. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, but it worked out pretty well actually. I think anyone listening, do never do that. If you have the chance to see it, make sure you go see it.
Yeah, or get someone to see it. Even if they say no or say they're busy, tell them they're not that busy.
Yeah, tell them this is a year of your life.
Exactly. It'll be 1 coffee break's worth of their time, essentially. Maybe a little more to their transport options, but definitely, I would not recommend it. We got lucky. It turned out good. It turned out better than good, actually, and we were very lucky. But I would still not recommend ever in any city.
No. I think, especially in London, where I think stuff is so expensive and what they show in the pictures varies quite significantly.
Yeah, and some of these pictures can be 10 years old. So they were taken when the place was new, and then like 10 generations of students have lived there, and it's just a disaster.
Yeah, it's just a mess afterwards.
Right, exactly. Anyway, we did have some issues. Like I remember our boiler broke, and the boiler was old. Like it was old. It was definitely about time.
Do you remember looking? So the way that the boiler worked was they had like a big water feed high up in the house or the apartment, and so it's gravity fed all the pipes and water faucets and everything.
Like
do you
our shower and sink and all that.
Yeah. Do you remember taking a look inside that water bucket?
I think you did, and I didn't. Maybe, or you said it's not worth it. Like you don't want to look in there.
It was disgusting, mate. There was like floating dust there, like big chunks of black I don't even know what it was, just floating around.
It's phlegm.
And that water, yeah, just revolting. And I was like, okay, this is why this is no longer exists in any place.
Yeah.
No.
Did they replace that?
Yeah, they got a new combi boiler,
Oh,
combined
yeah.
boiler. Yeah, so that went away, thank God.
Also, so we were lucky in that respect as well. Like the owner of the place was gonna renovate it, I think, once we moved out anyway. Like he had 1 year left before
Yeah.
renovations, which I think was also partly a reason why rent was rather cheap for the size. Not crazy cheap, but it was like
Yeah.
cheaper for the size and the area. But I remember when we got it all fixed. So they changed out they got a combi boiler. They changed like something in the kitchen was a mess, and for
Yeah.
the time that they were changing it, and then the boiler room and all of that. But one guy did it. One guy came, and in what, 2 days?
So impressive to change a boiler. Yeah.
He worked so fast and so efficiently. The guy took 0 breaks. He was just there all day. Maybe he had a quick lunch, maybe 30 minutes tops, but then the rest of the time, full throttle.
Yeah.
So committed. And yeah, I've never seen such efficient work in my life.
I remember offering him tea and like coffee during break. He's like, no, just wanted to get it done.
Yeah, get it done, get out, like sorted. But 2 days, I think, 2 days.
Yeah.
And then we had a bit of a mess. We hoovered and stuff cleaned up, and then it was fine. He did make a makeshift cupboard for like the boiler unit in the kitchen, which was rather ratchet. But other than that, the workmanship was top notch. I think he did a very, very good. Not a carpenter for sure, but everything else very good.
Yeah, so he built this like wooden box around the boiler. First of all, I don't think anyone, if it was your place, you would put a boiler in the kitchen just for everyone to see. And then he built this shoddy looking box around it to try and hide it slightly, but it didn't help at all. It probably made it worse.
Yeah. Made a terrible ornament even more terrible.
Yeah.
But I think he made it out of like scrap wood that was used to like prop up the old bucket of disgusting water, remember?
Yeah.
Like there's some wood left over, and I think he made the box out of that. So it made sense.
Resourceful.
Yeah, no waste. Very 2020 on that front. Very much a recycling project.
But for a place in London that you're going to renovate, I think that's going to be the first thing that you change.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely pull out the carpets.
Yeah, but we did have an issue with the water pressure after that, and I remember he had to install a pump in our shower that sounded like a jet engine every time you showered.
Yeah, right? I felt a little bad because I think out of the two of us, I'm definitely the one to get up first in the morning. Oh, yeah. I was at the time.
I can tell you, yes, you were.
And I would go shower, and it would maybe 9 out of 10 times wake you up just because of the jet engine.
Yeah, I mean, my room was right next to the bathroom, so
yeah,
it made sense that I would be woken up. And even if I did shower late or something, I don't think I showered at a time that you were sleeping.
No,
you could hear it that loudly in your room.
No, I mean, between us, you definitely won the sleeping award in terms of most sleeping done in a week.
I mean, it's the most important time of your day, Mikkel.
Yeah, it's sleep time, nap time.
Yeah. Anyone who says otherwise is wrong.
It's simply wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And during that year, actually, that was a really fun year. I think best year of university, at least for myself, just because of the housing arrangement.
Yeah, definitely. I think between that and first year, I think I had the most fun time.
Yeah. And then we were part of the snow sports committee then.
We were together. We were on it.
I was you were a freestyle captain. I was secretary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freestyle captain never won anything. At least I know that's not true. I didn't win anything that year.
Yeah.
Oh no, did I?
Yeah, didn't you?
Oh, I did win because we went on a ski trip, right? We went on we went to Busk in this Easter holidays.
Yep.
And there was one particular big air competition.
Fond memories of that one, Mikkel.
Yeah. I just remember now, but we did compete, and the weather was awful all week, and I think they postponed it once due to a snowstorm. And then they postponed it, and then on the second day, they were like, okay, we're going to cut it down. Instead of having 2 jumps and 3 runs per person, we're going to have 1 jump and 1 run per person.
Yeah.
But the visibility was poor, and it was snowing.
And it was really windy.
And it was really windy.
Any sane person would have said, like, this is probably not the best idea to jump and go in the air.
Yeah, on a like a 60-foot kicker or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Turns out, yeah. Anyway,
it happened.
you did pretty well in that one, Mikkel.
Yeah, so it was you, it was me, and it was Mr. William Tickner. We were all competing in it together, and people might not know this, but Will is a very good snowboarder, and he's the one who got me into snowboarding, and he's probably also the one who got you into snowboarding, and he's a very good snowboarder. So I think he went first.
Yeah.
And did a nice, I think maybe he did a 180, or he definitely did something pretty cool, or 180 nose grab, I think he pulled off, which it doesn't sound like a crazy trick, but for those conditions, it was
pretty good.
It was crazy good. Anyway, so he went, out of the three of us, he went first, and then I went, and I just did a straight air tail grab. That was it. That was all I could muster for that competition, because again, the conditions were awful for a big jump, and I was shaking. My knees were shaking the whole run up, and I damn near shat my pants as we were sitting waiting for the go sign. And then I think you were running right after me, and I waited. As soon as I'd done the jump, I turned. I continued down the slope, and then I turned to watch yours. Right?
Yeah.
Do you want to take us through that experience?
Yeah. So I mean, this was the second jump. I warmed up on the smaller jump, and I went, okay, that went okay. I didn't have enough speed, so let me go to the bigger one and get a bit more speed, so I don't hit the knuckle or the flat part. I land on the down bit, so it doesn't hurt as much on my legs. Well, turns out, Mikkel, I didn't judge my speed very well, and the wind also at least blew.
Turns out.
Yeah, it turns out the wind has a big effect on you. So I went way too fast. The wind as well blew my snowboard, and I couldn't see the blue marks of where the landings are. So you kind of know when the ground is going to hit you.
Oh, for sure. And it's not like, I mean, it's not like you were trying to flip. It wasn't like you were trying to do a backflip.
No. And I went way too quick, way too fast, and basically missed the knuckle, luckily, which was good, but also missed the landing. So I went back to the flat part where I landed.
Yeah.
And then just slightly touched down on my legs, and then just crumpled because it was way too big, and I wasn't expecting it, and then just broke my back.
It was what a bombshell. Yeah, just broke your back. But you did, and that was horrific to watch, because I think your board kind of slid out under you when you on the run up, or as you left the run up with the kicker, and you were in the air, and your board was kind of, you were sort of lateral.
Chicken winging, yeah. Like I was like in a seating position. Like if I was sitting down, would have been great and comfortable.
Yeah.
When you're floating through the air, it's not the position you want to be in.
On a cloud chair, and I saw this from and I was like, oh no, this is obviously a write-off for a jump. Like that was the first thought. It's like, okay, this isn't gonna give you any points. And then the second thing was like, oh my god, he's gonna land, and it's like it's a high way down, like it's a long way down. He's gonna land straight on his back. Like that's what I thought. Like you're gonna just land full throttle on your spine. This is a disaster. Somehow, and I don't know how, somehow you managed to flap your arms so hard that your board, you rotated in the air, and your board came underneath you in the last milliseconds. So the board touched first and then onto your butt, I guess, or onto your back. So I think
that was pretty lucky. I
think you saved yourself a lifetime of injury, I think, but still managed to break your back.
Yeah, fun trip.
It was so scary because you just stayed on the ground, and obviously took my board off, started running up, and the snowmobiles came, like everyone came, and you just got whisked away on the evacuation snowmobile to I guess the first aid center, and then to the hospital.
Yeah. So 2 compression breaks of 2 vertebrates. That's what I left with. So overall wasn't too bad. I mean, I wasn't paralyzed, so I say it wasn't too bad.
Full recovery, at least.
Yeah,
full recovery.
Yeah. But life lessons, Mikkel. One, insurance is bloody important.
Yeah, insurance. On ski trips, insurance is the thing to do.
So I think I paid like £20 for my insurance during that trip.
Yeah.
And the best £20 I've ever spent, because all I was doing in the hospital was I was just lying down. I couldn't stand up or sit up. And I was just signing checks like everywhere, handing my credit card to people.
Yeah, to get some treatment.
Yeah. And then the next thing is, if the conditions aren't right for a snowboarding competition, just don't do it.
Yeah, maybe
It's not
just
worth it.
bite the bullet,
Yeah.
eat the sour apple and
Yeah.
just don't do it.
Yeah.
Let everyone else do it. You might not win that year, but
Yeah.
that being said, I got third place and that was my only podium finish.
Yeah.
So I got a
Win,
nice
win, win.
medal. Yeah,
Win for everyone. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that was a huge disaster. But they did 3D print you a nice back brace that you had to wear while we were living together for the rest of this.
Yeah. That was really comfortable. It was a white corset, so
Yeah,
my back
but
would be in a certain position as the bones healed.
like an exo corset though. It wasn't hidden
Yeah.
away. Like that was full on display.
No, yeah.
We
I had to do all my exams standing up and everything. So
you had to do all your work standing up. Remember, we
Yeah.
created a standing desk for you. So again, very Vogue of us, like to stay on topic.
yeah. I mean, coffee table on top of the dining table makes the perfect standing
I
desk.
think it was more like coffee table on top of your desk table, like your room, the desk in your room.
Yeah.
And then duct tape it together, so obviously it didn't move. And then you had mega desk.
Yeah. Who needs to spend $1,000 on or £1,000 on a standing desk when you can just put together what you already have?
Yeah, that's true. And you had one of those tongs. I remember that people use them to pick up garbage in your municipality. Like the people in the orange vests, they pick up garbage with this tweezer looking thing. It's long.
Yeah.
You had one of those to do all your chores, everything in your life actually, because you were only allowed to lie down and stand up. No sitting, no bending down, nothing. Just lie down.
Yeah. No, great times.
Yeah.
Great times.
Speaking of having lots of desks, we did have an abundance of furniture in our apartment, so that we did have a good opportunity to make a standing desk. But why did we have all that furniture?
I mean, so we did an entrepreneurship course, Mikkel.
We did do that
at university, and this was the only course we ever took together at university because we did separate subjects, and we decided it would be a good idea to run a furniture business while doing this course to show that we're actively entrepreneurs.
I mean, the whole course was essentially start a company, or at least think about starting a company and write a plan.
Yeah, it was like fundamentally do like a business plan for starting a company and like what you would need to do to start it. And then I thought, we'd probably get more marks if we just did it.
They said if you guys can make money, then you'll automatically get a good mark. And I think to the two of us, that sounded absolutely amazing, because then we didn't have to do much in terms of writing and doing a report.
Yeah.
I think so we were a group of 5, and you and I had that mindset and the rest of the whole course. So this was a course of 100 people. They did not have that mindset. They're like, no, you know what? We're going to put a gazillion hours into a report, and then we'll get a good grade.
Yeah. Turns out they were wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah. Turns out what the lecturer said he meant, which is good.
Yeah.
But yeah, our business, I mean, I'd try to run that after uni, and that's another topic
another episode, I think. But
so we bought and sold furniture and delivered around London to make money, because our kind of business plan was make furniture delivery, secondhand furniture delivery seamless and easy for people, and see if we can make a bit of money by, adding that additional step of adding delivery for people that live in London who don't have cars.
Right, exactly. And we saw that, this was also based on our own experience from moving around London, right? Is that there's so much furniture that you don't know what to do with, because you're moving, you don't have a car, nothing. You want to get rid of it, but you have to pay for someone to come pick it up. And it's perfectly good furniture, and someone just picks it up and throws it in the recycling, right? And it gets burnt, and that's that.
Yeah.
And we would walk around London and there'd just be furniture on the curb everywhere. And it's like, well, what if it wasn't just put on the curb and we could just sell it and make 100% profit? Like, obviously there's means of delivery, which I guess we'll get into in a second, but in theory, off the bat, sounded like we could just pick up a product and then sell it for 100% profit. Yeah. Was the idea.
Yeah. And I mean, it was good, but we didn't have a car, Mikkel.
We did not.
We had bikes. And I remember the first chest of drawers that I picked up, the back of your bike where you occasionally have someone sitting?
Yes. Yeah. Or it's meant for baggage, but yeah.
I thought this is a great place to put a chest of drawers on.
Did I help you out for this one, or was it just you?
I think it was just me to get to our house, and then you helped up the stairs.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so that was a good trip. That took about a 5-minute walk took about an hour as I'm trying to balance it on this small seating section of the bike.
Right.
Yeah. And then I think the next one we did was selling a chair. So we had
I feel like we had a quite an easy time picking up and getting a ton of furniture into our apartment.
Yeah.
So, but it was like it didn't match all the furniture, obviously, because it's random pieces, and there's a lot of the same stuff. I feel like we had a lot of armchairs at one point.
Yeah, we definitely did. And then what we tried to do there, I think with that chair, we sold it to another uni student, and we took an Uber. So we ordered an Uber and delivered it to him through the Uber. Do you remember that Uber ride slightly, Mikkel?
I remember this event very, very clearly. I think it was the chest of drawers that we sold, honestly. And we carried it and we tried to take it on the bus. And then we had to take an Uber instead. Except, this was a different time?
This was the armchair. This was the purple armchair that we had.
Okay, so then I misremember. No, okay, for the armchair, go on about the Uber driver.
Yeah, so there we took the Uber. The guy was first confused why we're asking him if we can just load a chair into his Uber as well. But we're like, yeah, we got to deliver. So he was cool. He was like, okay, fine. And during that time, I had interviewed for a few companies.
Right.
And I think it would be better if you tell the story, Mikkel.
Right. So you'd started applying because, as we mentioned earlier, the summer between third and fourth year is like crisis mode. You have to get an internship to get experience so that you can actually get a job when you finish, and you have other things in your CV than just your degree. So
but this was for a real job. This wasn't.
This was like a final. Okay, this was during fourth year. Sorry, this was already past that, and you're applying for a real job. Everyone is like fighting to get jobs after fourth year, and you got to start early to go through the insane application process that is graduate jobs. Like it's like 40 rounds of tests and interviews. So I guess you've done like an aptitude test and probably a first round of interviewing.
Yep.
And the thing is with these things is that the further you get through the rounds, the less flexible they are in terms of you picking up the phone or rescheduling a time. So essentially when they call, you pick up and you have a chance, or you don't pick up and it's void, like you don't get the job, like you don't even get a chance to call them back or anything. Yeah. So that being the premise, you got called for a second round interview for a job in the middle of this Uber.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought, okay, this is fine. Just talk on the phone a little bit. I'm not distracted. And then they asked, hey, can you turn on video?
Yeah.
And I just froze at that point. I was like, yeah.
Yeah. And I was sitting next to you on the back seat. The Uber driver kindly turned down the radio. You didn't turn on the video. You said it broke or something.
No, I turned on the video.
Oh, you did turn it on?
It just looked really dark because we were in a car. And it was late at night.
Late at night, and an absolute disaster.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could hear what the person interviewing you said, but I could hear what you were saying, and it was definitely extremely awkward.
It was so hard to hear what the person was saying because it was on speaker now instead of just on the phone in the Uber. So a disaster interview if I had one.
Yeah, the ending to that story is that you did not get the job.
No. I mean, I think if I did get the job, I would question the company a bit. If I was the best candidate who took a final round interview in the back of an Uber and just like videoed from there, I would question the morals and the kind of.
Yeah, for sure. Also, the fact that the final round is done on a usually the final round is like an in-person meeting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess you didn't get to that point at all. But we delivered the chair and made some money.
Yeah. So that was successful.
Yeah.
And then we took a bus ride home, Mikkel.
We did. Oh my God, we did take a bus ride home.
Yeah.
We got to meet some new friends.
Yeah, and you have such a lovable face, I think.
Yeah, people just approach me.
You seem to attract. Yeah.
And that has happened to me quite a few times on public transport and just walking down the street, both in London, but also in Montreal. It just, I don't know what it is, but people seem to think that it's okay to have a quick conversation with me, and sometimes not even a quick one, a long conversation, which it is okay. I don't mind conversations, but I feel like sometimes there's a time and a place. So we're sitting and the bus isn't full. The bus is like somewhat empty.
Yeah.
And a guy comes on the bus, looks like a fairly regular guy, a little bit older than us, maybe mid-30s. and he just sits down square next to, like right in front of us, like
I
full
think
on in like a quadra. It was like a quadra seat where 2 seats we're sitting on. We're facing 2 other seats.
Yeah.
And he just comes and sits in our booth, and there's like a lot of other seat options, but he comes in and sits.
But the first surprising thing was when he got on the bus, he didn't realize that you couldn't pay with cash any longer.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. So some guy had to pay his bus fare for him because he only had cash. He didn't have a card.
And you say any longer? It'd been like that for a few years.
Yeah. It not been, a week ago it was like that. So
no.
So first surprising thing, because he had a very British accent and he clearly sounded like he was from London.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And proceeds to have a chat with us. I'm not sure I remember how he initiated the conversation. Maybe you do.
Yeah, so I mean, he came and sat next to us. He went directly for you, not me.
Yeah.
Like I remember him just clearly looking at you, and then he was like, he first complained about the cash thing, and then he just went on to say, "Yeah, I just got out of prison today."
Yeah, he did say that straight away, like off the bat, like no bars. No holding back, nothing.
And I remember you just saying like, "Oh, okay, nice."
Congratulations. I think I said congratulations or something.
Yeah. And then without him asking, he told us what he went to prison for. So what did he go to prison for, Mikkel?
Manslaughter, I think, or murder.
Yeah.
Was it definitely someone died? And it
manslaughter.
might manslaughter.
Yeah. And I'm all for, fine, start your life again after prison, but I don't know if it's such a good idea to go sit next to strangers and then tell them exactly why you went to prison.
Like full on broadcast effect. I'm just fresh out of prison for manslaughter, and this was fairly late at night. It wasn't late. It was maybe like 9 or 10 p.m. But it was definitely dark out, and the bus was. He didn't have like a hostile manner to him. Like he genuinely seemed like he just wanted to talk to human beings.
Yeah.
Which like definitely put me a little more at ease. But at the same time, like that hadn't happened to me before.
First of all, I mean, I guess I've lived a pretty privileged life, but I've never met anyone who's been to prison.
Right.
Yet alone been to prison for ending someone's life. So that kind of took me off guard a little bit, and I was like, oh wow, this is a random thing to encounter.
Yeah, exactly. But he seemed chipper about it, and obviously he was happy to be out and about, and all in all, the guy was very nice. Like a little bit strange, and obviously that's because he hadn't lived the last 5 years like everyone else on the outside had. So it makes sense that he had some social quirks, but interesting experience for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, a fulfilled evening, I would say.
Yeah, all in all, eventful.
Sold the furniture, made some money. My job interview came to a crashing halt, or job application for that, and we met someone who had been to prison for manslaughter, and it was his first day out.
Yeah,
you were one of the very first people he spoke to out, Mikkel.
Yeah, that's true. An honor and a privilege to this day. Yeah. I mean, I think that wasn't even the end of our shenanigans with this furniture business, though. I think that was only the beginning. I think that was one of our first events and our first deliveries, and we thought, you know what, this is grand. This has worked out great for us so far. Gonna do some more.
I think start the thing, and then you're completely right. So we had the chest of drawers, and we were trying to take the bus.
The bus driver just shook his head. He didn't even say a word. He saw us try to take this chest of drawers on, and he literally just shook his head and rolled his eyes.
Yeah.
And we took it back off the bus, and we had to take a black cab. I remember it being annoying because taking a black cab for delivery significantly reduces our profit margin.
I would say it made it unprofitable.
I don't think so. I think I mean, in terms of time, like we didn't pay ourselves salaries, obviously. If you count time, we were definitely in the negative profit. Some called that a loss. But in terms of just money, like in terms of what we paid for the cab and what we sold the chest of drawers for, there was a tiny profit.
Yeah, this a tiny bit of profit. Luckily, we didn't have to take it up too many sets of stairs when we got to the place either.
That was the worst apartment. the stairs were tiny, and the person there. I mean, I don't want to like judge people judge a book by its cover, but the person living in that apartment did not look like they could carry up this chest of drawers on their own. And in fairness to them, I couldn't carry it upstairs on my own either.
Yeah.
I would need a person to help me out. So then they asked, "Oh, could you guys bring it up?" And we thought, okay, it might be one flight of stairs. What's that? Anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't.
Yeah. And the stairwell wasn't really built for carrying up furniture either. So I remember it having a lot of kinks.
Yeah, a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah. That if anyone who's moved furniture, it's a struggle to get up kinks and turns. So what necessarily would have taken a 5-minute, bring it upstairs, drop it off, fine. I think we spent like 20 minutes trying to bring it up these stairs, and get it around the corners without damaging this person's property.
Exactly. And also it should be mentioned that this furniture wasn't easy to disassemble and assemble IKEA furniture. Yeah. No, this was old school, made out of oak type furniture that can't be taken apart unless you have a sledgehammer.
Sturdy and long-lasting furniture.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, that was another successful delivery from our company.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think also a fun part of that was whenever we had visitors, we always had an abundance of furniture in our apartment, and it was a good conversation starter.
Yeah. Well, we had a lot of desk chairs and chairs and
sofas.
cupboards.
We had like 3 sofas and a few cupboards.
I mean, it's great, right? We utilized the furniture to its fullest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would be used while it was in our possession, and it would be recycled into someone else's.
Yeah.
But I mean, ipso facto, we didn't necessarily write the world's best report. I mean, you and I outsourced most of the report to everyone else on our team who hadn't really done much in terms of shifting furniture. Yeah. And our report and presentation, I'd say, was maybe worthy of a B minus grade-wise.
Yeah, for sure. Nothing more, to be honest.
Nothing more. Like, giving it more would definitely not do it justice.
Yeah. But we were the only people that actually made some money.
Yeah, 95 pounds, I think we made in total.
95 pounds. We went on, because we didn't manage to sell some of the furniture that we had acquired.
Yeah.
We ended up selling the other furniture for around 600 pounds.
That's true. We sold way more after the course has ended. But by the time we gave the presentation, the pitch to they were our pros, but they were supposed to act as investors. We made 95 pounds. And the way we thought to like structure this pitch was to like explain the company, go through it all like a presentation, and then at the end, reveal that we made money. And then as we revealed it, the guys were like, you guys should just have said that in the beginning and then talked about that for the whole time, because the rest of the presentation pretty mediocre. And then that fact is just blew them out. Blew them out of the room, because no one else, I think, in the time they'd done the course had really made.
And I think that's solely what got us the good grade, Mikkel.
Yeah,
the business idea wasn't well fleshed out. It wasn't great, but we had validated it by selling 95 pounds worth of furniture.
Fact. And we got second highest in the year, and the reason we got second is because another group had done a very, very, very good presentation, a very good report, and a very good, well thought through business idea. Obviously they hadn't made any money, but I think if you got the highest grade, you got to actually like promote the course and talk to some of the people who sponsored the course, and you actually got your report and your business idea sent to some important people. And there's no way they could send our report. There's no way.
Yeah. So I think they gave us a commiseration second place.
Yeah.
But I think they were very impressed with us, the fact that we actually made some money.
Yeah.
And we got invited to all the talks and everything, like the first team, just because of that. Yeah. And normally they just invite one team, so
I see it as a big win.
Yeah. I see, a huge win. Great fun. Yeah. Made a tiny bit of money. Interesting stories on the way. So
exactly. We had a good time, and we didn't have to write much, and we didn't have to do much in terms of the actual office, in terms of writing the report and writing the final piece. So I think we definitely won out of that 100%.
Yeah, that's true.
Very true. And we both graduated.
Yeah.
Both got good grades. So all in all, that was a hell of a time. And the end product was good.
Yeah, exactly.
And
so, yeah,
go
I
on,
think
sorry.
that concludes our time in London. I'm sure we'll bring up occasionally in future podcast things that we've overlooked and not spoken about.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, I mean, it should also be said, like, it was a grand time and it was a very productive time and we both did very well. Still, neither of us got a job.
Yeah. Still, I mean, I had kind of come to the realization that I wasn't going to get a job. And so I went on and tried to make that business idea a full business.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, and I went on to do a PhD. I hadn't really planned to do a PhD, but I had trouble finding a job that I would actually enjoy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had some great opportunities to work actually, and I got a placement from August to December, and then during that placement, I did really enjoy the work, and I kind of wanted to continue work, but then I'd also accepted a PhD to start in January, so that was kind of my future from there.
I think I can't remember what the saying is. You know, you pick the cards that you're dealt, right? Something along those lines. And we were dealt very few cards.
That's not the saying, but I get your drift.
Yeah, we were dealt very few cards, and we picked out of those very few cards what to do next.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're stuck with the cards you dealt or something.
Yeah.
I think that makes more sense. But yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, exactly. That's where we go from there.
Yeah. And that concludes.
Yeah, London special part 2.
Yeah.
But we do have, as per last episode, we do have a little fun riddle for everyone to participate in. And I guess I'll just outline the premise. So this is full Dungeons and Dragons style for those who are fans of that game. But here comes the riddle of the week. So imagine yourselves in a dark cave, scurrying through, maybe with a torch, and you know you're trying to find your way out, and then you run into a room, and the peculiar thing about this is that there are hundreds of coins in a pile. As you notice all these coins, the entrance is shut behind you or is blocked, and out steps an old man, and he says, "Sir, you have to solve this riddle, otherwise you're stuck here forever." He says, "Sir," assuming that I'm the one stepping into the room, but any gender is allowed.
When it's you stuck in that room, I think he will tell you based on your preferred.
Yeah, your preferred pronoun. He uses preferred pronoun for sure.
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, there are hundreds of coins in a pile. Each coin has a gold side and a silver side, and you notice that as you enter the room, there's exactly 20 coins with the silver side facing up.
Yeah, as you do, just quickly glance
at it. You quickly glance at it, and you have full Rain Man powers. You can count very quickly when things are on the floor.
Yeah,
that was a Dustin Hoffman reference there for anyone interested in movies. But then, as you notice this, the second you've noticed that 20 coins are face up, the light in the room turns off, so you're in pitch black darkness.
Yeah, and your torch that you maybe have,
and the torch that you potentially had to get through the long network of caves that also blows out, and no light in the room, pitch black darkness, and you hear the voice of the old man, who then tells you, in order to escape this room, you must divide all of the coins into 2 piles. Each pile can have any number of silver coins, so long as there are an equal number of silver coins in each pile. So
we're talking about silver coins, which
silver
is
side up.
Sides,
Yeah. So you have to divide the coins. So there are hundreds of coins in a pile at the beginning, and 20 are face up in the beginning, and you have to divide these coins in 2 piles. Each pile can contain any number of coins greater than 0, and the 2 piles don't have to have an equal amount of coins in them, but they do have to have an equal number of silver side up coins. So, and the key here is that there's no way to tell which side of any particular coin is facing up in the dark. and flipping coins is allowed, but resting the coins on their sides is not allowed.
Yeah. So you can't just rest all the coins
On their sides,
on the
which is
side and
also
say-
tough given that there are hundreds of coins. But
Yeah.
even if that was your idea, that's not allowed. But yeah,
Yeah.
there's no way of telling them these coins apart in the dark. Anyway, you must divide the coins in 2 piles with the same number of silver side coins.
Yeah. So how the riddle is how do you do that? How do you
do that?
get the old man that's randomly there to let you out of this cave?
Yeah, he lives there, and he lives off of root vegetables because he's
Okay.
also vegan.
So we'll put a little description about the kind of background to that in the YouTube description, just in case anyone wants to read it.
Yeah, we'll put the riddle in the YouTube description, and I'll put a link to the solution for last episode as well.
So good luck. This one, I think, at least I found it a bit easier than last week's one.
Yeah, and I was a putz and took me way longer than it should have to solve this one.
Yeah.
Not too proud about that, but there you go.
So-
Anyway, I think that's our episode for this week.
Oh yeah, good episode.
Yeah.
I think the fans will enjoy it.
Till next time.
Yeah, till next week. Cheers,
Adios.
Mikkel.